quiz. I'm going to solve some sample quiz from our API 653 storage tank inspector full course. You can try this yourself for free. This course is worth 60 CPD credit hours, continuing professional development. Has 8 hours of video, 208 lectures, 1300 questions, and 3000 flashcards. Can pass first time or free renewal, and you can also study our first and second module for free. It's got 120 days, 24/7 access, and we got WhatsApp line, technical query, general query, and access and IT that you can contact us, and we normally answer within minutes during working hours. So let's go to, you can also study the first and second module for free. I'm going to benchmark quiz, and we will solve some 20 questions here. So all our questions are mock exam questions are timed, and here only but the progress is shown, and they are also mock exam questions, they're flagged off. So same as API exams. So question number 1, welders shall be qualified in accordance with ASME section 9, and remember section 5 is for NDT procedures. AWSD 1.1 is for structural welding code, and API 1104 is for welding of pipelines, and it doesn't give you the welder performance qualification or welding procedure specification. It gives you the acceptance criteria. Next question. Upon completion of welding of the new tank bottom, the weld shall be inspected by which of the following methods? Now, you might want to do radiography or penetrant test, but it's not, unless it's specified, it's not a must. But you surely need to do a vacuum test to see that the weld that has been done is leak tight. So always answer the best, choose the best answer. That's what API wants from you. So the other thing might be right in case it's required. Penetrant test and radiograph. Hammer test we don't do on the tank bottom after the repair. But the vacuum air or air pressure test is a must, and so that's the best answer. Minimum thickness of tank bottom annual ring plate, which is the most critical part of the bottom of the storage tank, with no provision of leak detection, shall not be less than 0.1 inch. If you have a lining that is bigger than 0.05 inch, then the minimum could be reduced to 0.05 inch. Zone thickness of shell place shall be 45 millimeter. So this is in construction code. We put the reference here. A double welded butt joint is a joint between two abutting parts lying in approximately the same plane. So here the same plane, all the butt welds are always in the same plane. In tank shells with larger than 2 inch nozzle shall be reinforced. So this is coming from API 650, reinforcement and welding. So anything of nozzles bigger than MPS 2, flange or threaded nozzle shall be reinforced. Annular bottom place shall have a radial V that provides at least 24 inches between the inside of the shell and any lap welded joint in the remainder of the bottom. Because the critical joint, and this is coming from the formula in API 650. So whatever you have calculated on that formula, it can be less than 24 inch. That's a cap. The acceptability of wells examined by radiography shall be judged by ASME Section 8. Annular bottom place must extend a minimum of 2 inches. So the 2 inches is the correct answer from outside the tank shell. Maximum operating temperature for tanks constructed to be API 650, not including appendices here it says. So it should be 200 degrees Fahrenheit or 93 degrees centigrade. If it is more than 200 degrees Fahrenheit up to 500 degrees Fahrenheit or 260 degrees centigrade, then Appendix Annex M would be applicable. Or the other version of question would be when Annex M is applicable and they would at the range of temperature. Responsible for compliance with API 650 standard. So it's always manufacturer. And it's also mentioned about the responsibility in API 650. So it's always the manufacturer responsible for WPS, for NDT, for welder qualification, for NDT technician qualification, for the procedure, and for the materials. A new tank is under construction. How many radiographs are required on the first course of vertical welds if the shell is 35 millimeter thick? So anything above 25 millimeter, it should be fully radiographed, or 100% of the vertical joints. Here would be the answer. Repairs of defects shall not be attempted on a tank that's filled with oil. Now you got, this is an easy answer, it's common sense. Oil is also brought in API 650. Nitrogen is an inert gas. It doesn't create any fire or explosion, same as water. Grain, same thing, it's not immediately catching fire. So oil here is got high flammability and it should not be the weld should not be repaired while there is oil, but it should be cleaned and gas filled and then be done. Reinforcing plates of shell penetration shall be given an air test in accordance with API 650. So again, if you do a tank repair, tank bottom repair or shell plate, you should do that. We have explained where is it coming from, and obviously they will not be asking you about the pressure. It's 15 psi, but unless it's an open book question that you need to go and find the answer in API 650. Ultrasonic method of examination shall be in accordance with ASME Section 5. Remember that the procedure and the method of examination for NDE, all of the NDEs, RT, VT, UT, MT, PT, shall be done according to ASME Section 5. WPS and welder qualification should be done according to ASME Section 9. Okay, so that's a code requirement. Can be agreed between purchaser. The columns shall be effectively guided at their bases to prevent lateral movement of the column bases. So this makes sense. If you have lateral movements, then tank will become disabled. And if there is a number, they say how much you should resist the vertical movement of columns, it's 3 inches. That's a minimum requirement that it should resist. Up to 3 inches, the columns can move with respect to tank and still, stay safe. But this will be a open book question if there is a number involved. Otherwise, this is a common sense. An appendix becomes a requirement only when the purchaser specifies the requirement. And so obviously the purchase order it supersedes the codes, standards, and recommended practices that's mentioned in it. But as long as it does not violate any code requirement. So when it becomes a requirement or become mandatory, any annexes of, say, API 650 is not violating the code. It's just something over and extra. Shell placed with a thickness over 40 millimeter shall be normalized. So it should be over 45 millimeter is not allowed, and over 40 millimeter it should be normalized, quenched and tempered and fine-grained and killed, and any brittle fracture. The client has requested the top course of tank to be 1/2 inch thick. The maximum thickness of all other courses 3 by 8 inch. Now you can see here 3 by 8 inch is less than 1/2 inch or 4 by 8 inch. So you cannot have a shell course above another shell and it's thicker. So it's also to be always less than that or at most equal to the shell below it. So this is a code requirement and this will be a violation. The manufacturer should not accept that. So thank you for, you can look at view the result here. You just put in your email and then you can view all your results, and it will also come, a copy will come to your email. Thank you for listening and see you in other videos.